Yo! What's up, guys? And today, we're taking the biggest variant of the Redmi 15C, the 8GB RAM with 256GB storage model, and pushing its gaming limits. Can it handle your favorite game? Is the performance stable on this budget phone? We are going to play games like Mobile Legends, Genshin Impact, Call of Duty Mobile, Honor of Kings, PUBG Mobile, and Once Human. We're doing a deep dive into every frame, setting, and performance. Ready? Let's get this test started. Before we jump into the battle arena, let's quickly check the core specs of this large variant. This is the setup powering our test. Processor: MediaTek Helio G81-Ultra. It's an entry-level to mid-range chip, so let's manage expectations. With Mali G52MC2 for the GPU. RAM: a hefty 8GB. Plus, you get memory extension for serious multitasking. But we disabled it for this game test. Storage: 256GB. Display: a massive 6.9-inch HD Plus panel with up to a 120Hz refresh rate. But can the G81 Ultra actually deliver the frames? Time to find out. Before we begin, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notify bell for more videos like this. We need to use an FPS monitor or meter for this game test, so we will be using SHIZUKU and FPS monitor. You can download it on the Play Store. We will be able to see the real-time frame rate of the game and the battery temperature. All right. First of, Mobile Legends. At absolutely max settings, you'll see smooth 60 frames per second or higher most of the time, but expect frequent stutters when skills fly during a massive 5-on-5 clash. The back of the phone will get warm after about 30 minutes. Teamfight FPS. This is where the budget GPU, Mali G52MC2, and the Helio G81-Ultra are severely tested. Expect significant frame drops when multiple heroes use ultimate skills, particle effects are high, and all 10 heroes are present. The FPS will likely drop into the 40 frames per second to 55 frames per second range during these moments. This loss of stability is noticeable and can negatively impact competitive play. But knowing it is quite playable in this settings. Most stable competitive performance on the Redmi 15C. It is highly recommended to slightly lowering the settings to better maintain a stable, competitive frame rate. For your typical 15 to 20 minute ranked match, the Redmi 15C only burned through 4% to 6% of the battery. We pushed it for a full hour. That's about 3 to 4 back-to-back games. In one solid hour of maxed out high frame rate MLBB, the battery drain was only around 14% to 18%. Verdict? The Redmi 15C can run Mobile Legends at the specified maximum settings, but it cannot sustain a competitive, ultra-smooth frame rate. Next on the list is Call of Duty Mobile. With medium graphics and high frame rate, the Redmi 15C performs quite well. You can expect your frame rate of 40 to 55 frames per second and a sudden drop up to 30 frames per second once the phone heats up. But most of the time, it will sit on 40 to 55 frames per second. At medium graphics and high frame rate, the Redmi 15C is draining its 6,000 mAh battery at an approximate rate of just 12% to 16% per hour. That means from a full 100% charge, you are looking at an astounding 6 hours up to a staggering 8 hours of continuous Call of Duty Mobile gameplay. Verdict? The Redmi 15C performs quite well, but not that stable. To achieve stable 60 frames per second, try even lowering the graphics to low. Now, Honor of Kings, we set it maxed out. Attempting to max out the graphics in Honor of Kings will push the phone's hardware beyond its comfortable limits, leading to a poor and inconsistent experience. You might experience significant frame drops and stuttering if you try to force a higher rate. It really struggled during team fights, 37 to 48 frames per second, but when you're just roaming, 55 to 58 frames per second is achievable. You could play for 7 to 9 hours of continuous playtime and 10% to 14% per hour. Recommended in-game settings: avoid the maximum custom settings unless you are willing to deal with higher heat and battery drain. Just set it to default number 2 on overall graphics quality. Resolution must be set only to high, but maintain high FPS for a smoother, more responsive experience than 30 frames per second. Verdict? Playable, but do not expect stability on maxed settings. Just set it to what I recommend to get competitive gameplay.
It's not the name, but rather the deed that makes someone a hero.
PUBG Mobile. Now, based on the MediaTek Helio G81-Ultra chipset inside the Redmi 15C, the game naturally limits the highest settings. We can usually hit HD graphics, but the frame rate maxes out at high. The experience is choppy, dips around 24 to 27 frames per second. The visuals are good, but the high frame rate setting is simply too demanding for the Helio G81-Ultra to handle consistently at the HD resolution. It can only handle 40 frames per second. Most of the time, 30 to 38 frames per second. Okay, 1 full hour of intense PUBG Mobile running those resource-heavy HD settings. Starting at 100%, after 60 minutes of gaming, our Redmi 15C is now at 84%. That's a 16% drain in 1 hour. You're looking at potentially over 6 hours of continuous, hardcore PUBG Mobile on a single charge. If you drop the settings to better frame rate setting, where the chipset is more efficient, I have no doubt you could push this closer to 7 or even 8 hours. Verdict: can it run it? Yes. Should you play on it? No. If you want the best competitive experience on this phone, you need to prioritize frame rate over resolution. I highly recommend switching your graphics to smooth and frame rate to high, but only 40 frames per second is achievable here. Genshin Impact. We've manually set graphics quality to lowest, resolution to low, and the frame rate to 30 frames per second. During intense fights, especially with multiple characters and elemental bursts, the frame rate drops sharply, often hitting 15 to 20 frames per second. We see a mostly 25 to 30 frames per second as the game prolongs, but definitely not stable. Exploring Mondstadt and Liyue is playable, but don't expect a smooth, flagship experience. Textures are blurry, shadows pop in and out, and the draw distance is short. It looks like a potato setting, but the game is functionally running. It's still possible to clear daily commissions in basic exploration, but the lag makes the Spiral Abyss or tough boss fights a real struggle. After 30 minutes of continuous lowest settings Genshin Impact, the phone's temperature settles at a comfortable 38 to 40 degrees Celsius on the back. It gets warm, but it's not dangerously hot, a decent result for this processor under load. This drain rate translates to roughly 5.5 to 6 hours of straight Genshin Impact gameplay on a single full charge. Final verdict: it's playable for casual tasks, but not enjoyable for serious, prolonged gaming. You'll have to accept visual compromises and performance hiccups. But if you're looking for smooth, responsive gameplay, you'll need a device with a more powerful gaming-focused processor. Now lastly, we tested once Human and CarX Street, both in headache and very unplayable. The open-world nature of CarX Street, with its dense traffic and detailed environments, is particularly challenging for this class of processor. You should anticipate drops in crowded city areas or during high-speed chases around 10 to 15 frames per second. There's no way you can play this game on this FPS. However, running a graphics-intensive and poorly optimized game like CarX Street places a huge demand on the chipset, which will consume power quickly. The estimated playtime of 4 to 5.5 hours. Recommended settings? None. We tested it to the lowest settings and it was still a disaster. Not recommended to play on this phone. And once human, same performance. Now, let's be real. The G81 Ultra is a solid entry-level processor, not a gaming powerhouse. Once human is a demanding open-world survival game. We're managing expectations here. We're not looking for ultra settings at 60 frames per second. After some testing, the game defaulted to low graphics. We'll stick to that, which is generally where you want to be on this chip for demanding titles. The frame rate cap is set to 30 frames per second. We are seeing the frame rate hover between 9 to 15 frames per second, and thermal throttling on this device, you'll experience even worst frames of up to 1 frames per second. Crazy. This game is not recommended for this phone. In conclusion, well, let's cut straight to it. The Redmi 15C is equipped with the MediaTek Helio G81-Ultra processor. Combined with that generous 8GB of RAM, this phone's primary target is the budget-conscious user who still wants to game. If you are a hardcore gamer who needs to play the latest, most graphically intense games on the highest settings, this phone is not your match. You will need a budget for a device with a more powerful, mid-range to flagship-level processor. The only game we tested that we can say stable is this game, Subway Surfer, meaning that the chip itself, the Helio G81-Ultra, is designed for efficient performance, which is perfect for a light title like this. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this game test helps you on deciding whether to buy this phone or not. I will just link where you can buy Redmi 15C. Also, if you want an in-depth review of this phone, I will leave a link on the description. Subscribe to the channel, and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. See you on the next one.